G'day, g'day all. My name's Retrograde. I'm joined here with Dark Lords and Ozimus. Do you guys want to say hi?
Howdy.
Hello.
So we're here on the test server. Mostly just standing around at this point. If anyone would like to join us, you're more than welcome because we're going to have some things to test. We have, following up from the other Valray invasions, the No Gump and Drake Spirit are now updated in their combat AI, which is really fun, and I'm really keen to see someone fight them. I think we all are, aren't we?
I really want to see the no gump. That one's funny.
Yeah, there's some really fun mechanics that got put in, and I really hope that someone shows up and just gets very surprised. But yeah, if you want to join us on the test server, while we talk about Epic and the plans for it, you're more than welcome to, and we'll make sure that something comes up. Now,
Got a link maybe for the tester or not?
yeah, that's a good idea. It's always a.
I put it in there.
You put it in?
I don't think you're going to be able to do links. No, we don't have permission. It's going to have to be
Okay,
you doing
okay.
it.
Remind me afterwards that to set you guys as as VIPs on the account, because I think that allows you to put it in. All right. Now, let me have a look here. So, I think everyone wants us to talk about the new dyeable buckets that are coming, don't they? Just waiting to see the rage in the chat. Yeah, so I mean, epic elevation. The vote is in. I think it was 10-1 at the end. I think it was 173 to 17, which we were actually looking at weighting the people who still play and live on Epic. But even if we gave the no's 10 votes each, it would still be a close one. But so yeah, it was very clear that everyone wants to see elevation reset, and I think there's a lot of reasons why. First reason is the map, and second reason is Dark Lords' plans for the reset, isn't it? You've got some pretty big plans.
I like the new map. Hopefully, I'm not wrong, but I'm pretty hyped for the new map, boss.
Yeah, we got Madness here. The new map looks amazing, and I'm really, really hyped about it. Yes, it was supposed to be a server that reset Olok, and while this is a short-term thing, we are testing some longer-term stuff as well. I mean, Dark Lords has come in with some really, really great ideas, and I'm excited to see how they go and how they affect the flow of PvP too. We got Madnath running around like a madman or mad woman. Let's just we'll see if anybody else comes first, because I think summoning 20 no gumps on Madnath alone would be a little bit unfair.
Be funny for a few seconds.
It would be funny for a few seconds. Snoo would like a summon, so I'm just gonna quickly.
Hold on.
You guys can summon. All right, I'll let you guys
Yeah, I got it.
handle that.
What's your name? What's the name?
I imagine it's Snoo. Yeah, you reckon Madness can handle 19? I don't think he can. No, we will not be releasing the map prior to release of the server. The aim for that is to create a little bit more exploration.
Oh, snooze for the bugs. Hold on. Don't kill poor Priscilla. Hold on, let me swap your kingdom so you don't get
There's a lot of good spots in it. I highly doubt that Ozimus is doing this with the aim of only knowing things himself. I will say that if he... This isn't something that's likely to happen. I think that
Oops,
most
hold on,
people are...
Are you off deeds now? Let's see.
The
So I was
fact
trying to
is
save me some
Ozimist
time.
makes the best maps I've ever seen. And I highly doubt that that information is going to be used in that way. I mean, as a developer, he has more access to everything anyways, and it has never been a conflict of interest before. So we expect it to be just like a month or so. That's basically our thing. You know, after that, we'll see whether it's worth unleashing the map, but we like the idea of less papercraft before it launches. I think it'll go well. And worst case, we can add it. And okay, so Dinkelberg is here, Madnath, Basingas, Snoo. I think it's enough from for our first no gump, don't you guys?
Indeed.
Snooze might be KOS. I'm not sure how to unset him a KOS as a GM if you could.
I don't even
He
know
needs
if
to
it's
go off D.
I tried to teleport him off deed and they still attacked him when he came.
Why is Snoo KOS? That's one of the first things.
Well, he came on deed as an enemy kingdom, and then I tried to
Ah.
teleport him off deed. I put him back to freedom, but they still won't leave the portal out.
Damn it, Snoo. There we go. Should be fine now. Once they come back, I doubt they'll target him. So how will travel with the new server work? Once the new server's up, what's the plan for how they connect to the existing home servers?
So they're gonna basically use the existing crystals that were in the home servers, but they've been changed up a little bit to where they're not gonna let anything but some specific no drop items like sleep powders and spyglasses. Full list hasn't been fully determined yet, but things that won't really have an effect, and no drop items that shouldn't be an issue. They'll be allowed through, but any items, weapons, armor, crafting stuff, you have to leave on the home server when you head over to elevation.
And sailing won't be allowed either?
No, there'll be no border connecting. There'll be no mailing between the servers during the duration.
And what about the items on the home server? When you take the portal, when you go back, the items will be back there, correct?
Well, it's basically still the same cluster. It's not a completely different cluster. So basically, you just have to cross with only acceptable items. The portal just will not let you cross. It's not going to hide and leave items behind. You're just going to leave anything that's not no drop behind, and you're only going to be able to come with your no drop item.
Okay, so you'll need to be essentially empty inventory in order to travel.
Right, and on your body.
All right.
Anything that's not on the white list.
And what about banks and mail?
The banks are going to get mailed back to the home server. So how it's going to work is, if you're currently logged off on Elevation, the first time you log in, it's gonna try and force you back to one of the home servers. And if for some reason that can't happen, it's just not going to let you log in for the duration. You'd have to get some help, but it shouldn't cause any issues. Just more safety fallback. I just want to be really careful that nothing leaks.
I'll just point out that No Gump has stolen Madnath's pants, run away, and then thrown the pants back at him. Madnath is currently pantsless now.
You gotta watch out with the new no gumps.
Yeah, make sure you put your pants back on. Alright, so we've got a couple more questions. Oh, it's definitely still on Madnath. Once Elevation gets reset, will it be possible to go from one home server to another server for raiding or PvP, or will this make the home servers safe while the borders are closed?
the home servers will technically be pretty safe while the borders are closed.
Oh, he's preparing a stomp.
If there's just really no way to go about that other than adding some way to let them cross naked. It's possible we could. I mean, it's really up to just what people would like. I mean, it's fully possible to mess with the borders a little and make the home servers, still able to connect to each other and mess with each other on that. If that's the route people would go, I can't imagine that'd be too difficult. I'd have to look into it. I'm not trying to add a whole bunch more to do, but I can't imagine that would be super crazy hard. But if nothing like that was done, yeah, the home servers would be relatively safe. I mean, PvP would still be enabled. Your neighbor could still kill you. You could still go hunted. I mean, so they wouldn't be like freedom servers.
Right. But there would be less enemy kingdoms raiding.
Unless the borders were connected. But for now, I guess if they weren't disconnected, because Elevation's going to get disconnected, I guess it would be possible to leave the other servers for plot course, or like and do plot course, or just add them to sides. But I think just leaving the home servers is a safe spot for a bit. Is leaving the focus on Elevation.
Yeah.
It's probably the best bet, but
Oh, he just
want to
stole.
do the best way we can. So
He just stole Snoo's scale glove. And for the people mentioning that they're worried about what that could mean to their items, the item does appear back in your inventory. So it's not like it could wind up on the ground or something.
it's just visual. It just basically unequips it and then makes it look like he throws it at.
Exactly. It is a lot of fun though, and it means that you've got to pay a little bit more attention when fighting them. They have had their stuns significantly reduced. The throw may increase the damage on the item, but not significantly. Like, we're not talking it won't
I think
shatter.
it does some damage.
Yeah,
To
it won't shatter.
I said 10 damage, and I got told that was too high, so it's definitely something under that.
So, how long will this reset be? That's a little bit of a loose question because we have some projects that we're working on that are currently long term. We've got little updates going out every month, but we've got some more long term projects, and before this we've got the Frontier project, and then after that we'll start looking at Epic. So we expect it to be around the end of the year. And that will be, I don't know whether that's when it will be in or when we'll start working on it. And we expect to take a lot of feedback from this. Like, Dark Lords, there's a lot being removed, isn't there? Like, what are the what are the major changes? Like, if you were to tell someone in 5 minutes, like, and hit the key points.
Reduce mind spam, reduce overall or increase overall difficulty to make extremely large deeds with large dirt walls. Dirt walls will basically take twice as much dirt to make the same height. Well, it gets exponential. You can only terraform up to 150 for making dirt walls and stuff like that. Mine doors have some breathing room between them now, so they can't use them to completely deny terraforming opportunities on a deed by lining mine doors every other tile.
Right, so it's to combat some of the more strange meta.
And deeds aren't impossible to disband now. If you manage to raid a deed, 5 times, which would take 10 days between the cooldowns and everything. If you manage to pull off something like that now, that their deed will just disband. Throughout playing, I haven't seen a whole lot of drains get up to 5, but the few times we did, we were always really, because there used to be a rumor about it that if you hit so many drains, it would disband before the Wurm Unlimited days. But then we all found out that wasn't true, and we're really, really sad. I remember one time.
Yeah, I remember.
Also, just to iterate, these changes are going to be like mostly, I mean, anything that might leak over due to for home servers. Basically, everything's going to be for elevation only. It's not.
Yeah,
really
it's very heavily flagged, so it can be down to a lot of even just those individual features I named can be turned on or off for individual servers right now. So it's very it's very loose. We're with how we can set it up. It's definitely not going to be a one size fits all solution.
Right, right. Um, and about existing things such as kings, they will stay the same, yes?
I'm trying to keep as much precedent from the last one, and Osmus, you can confirm, right? The king, you got your crown back the last reset, so I do believe that any
Yeah.
existing kings will. We will just. I still haven't figured out the full logistics, but I believe last time they were just made king on the new server and given a set of regalia
Right,
stuff.
okay,
So,
okay.
or however you pronounce that.
And what about champions as well? I know we had briefly before this spoken about champions. I know that things aren't concrete, but what would you like to see with them?
Well, there's going to be a lot of people coming back, and I figure there's going to be some pretty fierce competition for the 3 slot. And I'm not real happy with how champions work as far as being able to just log off for a long period of time. And I think we're probably going to go with removing champions for the start of this, and any existing champions would just be reverted to as close to a original state as we can get them, so there's no stat loss.
All right. Well, let's get some Drake spirits in because they've also had new mechanics, and so
I think that'll
Snooze volunteered to die. Oh no,
I
they're
think that'll
going.
help even things out a bit, especially with the removal of Shield of the Gaunt. It just becomes kind of problematic when there's only so few accounts that have such a strong boost, especially now that no one else left you Shield of the Gaunt. They're going to
Yeah.
be basically people with old Shield of the Gaunt without anyone else even having the half, current Shield of the Gaunt. So
Yeah.
probably for the best, especially for doing a new map, just to cut them out.
So the aim is at the moment removing champions.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's probably going to be the best course of action with how many people are going to be likely to come back and being squished into 3 kingdoms that can heat up quite quickly. And I think it'd probably just be best to not have people fighting over champions like I've seen before. And the homes, well, it's not so big anymore, but it's not a great system. It's too easy for anyone to take it, and then there's really no accountability once they do, and it's just a system that there's not enough time to redo, but it's probably not going to cause anything but issues with the reset.
Someone asks, what do you think of Gurn and how much it impacts the game? My question is, we need to work out who Gurn is first. I think people need to know who he is.
I think Gurn is Alex Gopin's alter ego.
All right. So I'm just reading through the chat. There's a few other questions. I know there's been one by Cool Guy asking about skill transfers. That's not something we're looking at this point. I'm not sure if it will happen again, but during this, it's just we're looking at the elevation reset and the mechanics on Epic, not transfer to Freedom. What can we say about tomes? I know you had mentioned there were some things with tomes.
There's some of the tomes are getting slightly reworked. I'm still sitting on exactly whether it's going to be cooldowns or just slight changes to how they work, so they're not, or a mix of both. I'm going to try and make it so there's no crazy OP tome and just kind of flatten them out. I'm also going to remove the physical damage, both debuff and the resistance, and probably replace that with fall damage. So there's no just, like everyone who's ever gotten a red cherry knows that they're just pretty much useless because who wants to take increased physical damage from every source, as a side effect. It was just a pretty, just added to the DR stacking problem and made one of them almost completely useless because no one would even touch it because of its effect.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'll just point out just quickly. I think Madnath and Snoo just got absolutely stomped. What the Drake Spirit does at a certain point of its health is it will actually teleport around you, and breathe a random element attack on you. So that actually hits you 4 times, and this kills the Madnath. Madnath is dead. Though he did throw his longsword.
Hello, how are you?
Fix red cherry on freedom. That's not part of any of these plans. It's sort of separate.
Yeah, pretty much all of this is going to be just flagged for just being on the elevation reset.
Just to be clear here, is a map dump completely out of the question before the reset drops? Before the
Yes.
reset drops, completely out of the question, yes. Just reading through. If there are 2 different skill sets from elevation and home servers, how will that work? They'll be the same skill, I
You
believe.
got to remember too, this map's a lot smaller though than the other elevation. After a couple days, you guys will have a real good idea of what it looks like. It's not huge. Honestly, it won't be hard to. It's a much smaller map.
Yeah,
there's not nearly the amount of surface areas the last elevation server.
Yeah,
Visible landmarks as well. So.
There's also hills. I think that's a big mountains, as they're called in other places. I know when I first came to New Zealand, I was like, "Oh, look at the mountains," and Buddha, who was with me, goes, "You mean the hills, right?" I'm like, I'm from Australia. It's a pancake."
So one question: no adjustment to player god. So that's pretty much just going to be left as is for
now.
I saw another question earlier about who count. I'm going to try and mess with that a bit. I know there's a way currently that people can decipher exact populations on exact servers by doing some subtracty math from one server to another. I'm at the least going to do my best to remove anything like that. If people know of any more that I don't know of, please feel free to report them. But as far as like averaging who out over long times or anything like that, I don't know if there's going to be time for anything like that. But I'm at least going to try and pick out the exploits, not really exploits, but the foresights and ways that people have found to still tell the populations through the attempt to block them several years ago.
These Drake spirits are still around. We've got Dinkelberg is bleeding to death in the horse pen. Who else? Madnath has disappeared. Where's Madnath? Yep, come over here, Madnath. You're fighting. There we go. In leather. Okay, that's a bold move, but is Faith going to reset? Do you have plans to reset Faith?
No, Faith and Priests are just going to work as is. I tried to think of ways could, kind of do anything in that area. Just nothing that wasn't overly complex and just not on the timetable.
Yeah.
So Priests are just going to stay the same.
It's going to be a...
Sorry?
I was just replying to Mega Cactus's epic resetting. No, it's not an actual reset, so to say, just a map reset.
Yeah.
Well, map and an item reset. It's gonna do its best to filter out any items that don't belong. I've put in some pretty. There's multiple layers of redundancy in trying to keep the items off, just from trying not to send them over all the way to removing items if it finds that they don't really belong on elevation and somehow manage to get in.
Yeah. Konku asks, so comparing this elevation to other maps, how big dimension-wise will it be? It will be a 2K map like old elevation, I believe. Is that correct, Oz?
That is correct. It'll be 1/4 the original size if you put like four of them.
Right. What's happening with Hell Horses?
They will not. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Oz. You did that.
You will not be able to hitch Hell Horses nor ride them on elevation. Now, this isn't going to affect the other, like the home servers. You'll still be able to ride your Hell Horses and stuff and hitch them over there. another thing with just horses in general, horse gear rarity will no longer play a role in speed. It will instead just play a role in the damage taken to the
Right,
horseshoe.
right.
Yeah.
So, but then again, with a quarter the size of the map, everyone should still be able to get around pretty easily.
Oh yeah, with the high
it's a
wall
much better
pass.
as far as traveling.
Yeah, yeah. And just reading through,
Oh, PMK. There is going to be no PMKs for the foreseeable future at the start. One of my big concerns with tower chaining is that we're going to have a challenge, like what happened with Challenge, where a PMK is just going to crop out almost right outside one of the starter villages and just completely cripple them from the start. Because with tower chaining, you're not going to be able to just run wherever you want and drop a deed. You're going to need to organize, start building. I think some people have mentioned stuff, and then I'm like, you realize tower chaining, that was done. So I think a lot of people forgot that tower chaining's meaning they're going to have to kind of start from the starter and start chaining out from there slowly to go to where they want to go. It's not going to just be they can just run somewhere and drop a deed at the best spot like it was last elevation reset.
I think the plan. Olok has just asked about the start deed locations. I think the plan is MR in the north left, so northwest, JK in the northeast, and HOTS in the south, I believe.
Southwestish.
Southwest. All right. I'll also point out now that Buddha's here. We've got 3 corpses. It's all Madnath, but that still counts. So you have managed to kill some people with your new mechanics. So Snoo is still trying. I know there's questions about the dueling rings. I haven't heard you guys speak about them. Is there any plans to adjust them, or?
I did have that one of the original drafts up, but I left some of that out just because that's a big job. I don't want to just ditch Epic the day it launches, but that's might be something that could be touched on past that. I mean, I'm going to test it, make sure it at least works, fix anything that doesn't work in it. But as far as reworking the mechanics, maybe very slightly for numbers related things, but as far as how the system works is very unlikely to change, at least for unless it becomes a huge issue after, probably likely to just get slight tweaks.
Yeah, or just disable a system.
Well, you need a way to challenge a king because of how it works.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't want it just to say.
Well, that's the thing. This is an update that's going to be basically running between July, mid-July, and when we get the Epic update out. If there are things that we can tweak in the middle, we may, but I'm guessing a lot of it's going to be, okay, if that needs to change, we'll add that in the list. Is skill being reset at all? Not this time. There is no changes to skill, faith,
It's going to be
any of that.
still squishing to a degree. I got to kind of finalize exactly where, but my general consensus behind it and what I've written out and done so far is that it's gonna affect combat areas, but non-combat areas it really shouldn't touch. Like the best example I can give is body strength for how much damage you deal is going to be it's going to be slightly squished down, but how much carry weight you have will stay exactly the same. So you're not going to hit as hard, but you'll still be able to carry more. So I still want them to give benefits to you, so there's still a reason to have a higher skill, but not make it so it's and it's not even like we're going to be crazy. It's just going to squish down some of the higher tier. The higher you are, the the lower, the just try and level the playing field. People will still be better than other people. Your grinding will still matter. Trying to close some of the gap. And if it doesn't work, that's always something that can be disabled too, or tweaked after if it doesn't quite live up to my expectations.
Yeah. I will point out my response of not this time was more in regards to there we go, something nice for everyone. You're gonna have to get on to fight this. Was more in response to it's not being considered at this time.
For what?
A epic skill reset.
Oh yeah, definitely no skill reset.
So one of the fun things about test is I can summon champion versions. Why isn't it being considered this time around? Because there's a lot more to look into. People who currently play on there, everything else. We intend to sit down and look at the possibility with the next update, given that we do want to take it back to the original intent, including like those cycles, but we'll see. Exactly, all 10 of them that don't really want to lose their skill. But yes, so it's something that may come up later, but on this is at the moment just going to be as is. Breakfast Burger asks, what are you doing with the PvP side of changes that Sindusk was working on? I'm not entirely sure what you're referring to there, sorry. Alright, so we've got, okay, Michael B has turned up. Dinkelberg, Madness. I'm not entirely sure why you guys aren't just, spawning 90 quality scale for fun, but
Don't forget about the test window. You have to. A lot of people don't realize you have to have an item activated and right-click the ground to get to it. But the test menu will let you spawn in. Much nicer gear for fighting some champions.
yes, definitely. Oh, Madness is definitely doing it because he's now got plate, so he's doing something. I wonder just how much a champion no gump can steal though. Black Dragon Scale Glove from Snoo. I think that's the exact same thing that he stole before too. He's stolen it and he's running around.
Looks like he's not very friendly near water.
No, he doesn't like water. But we'll just no, he's got it and he's keeping it. There we go. He's got it on him though, which is good.
Oh, he actually does take it. That's funny.
There we go. We've summoned him over here, so hopefully he can there we go, throwing it back to Snoo. Well, the priest rework did go live at the end of last year. I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. Madnath is not using the test menu, so Madnath, be smart and use the test menu. Olok asks about the soft cap on stats and skills. Would you like to go further into that?
It's basically there's going to be a minimum. I'll definitely put out some more details when it's fully finalized, but the gist is there's going to a min to where the soft cap starts kicking in, and anything above that is going to be reduced by a factor and then added on to the soft cap. So anything above, say, 25 or whatever. I haven't finalized any numbers, but it would take that and then find out how much you have above that, and then kind of nerf that down a little, but only in cases where it's doing combat calculations.
Right.
It will be doing.
So just as some feedback for Buddha, I think he bugs out once he gets to anything that blocks his planned runaway speed. So we're just gonna check out. That's some weird looking toenails. That's the Son of No Gump is one of the most disturbing models I've ever seen, to be honest. Right.
Yeah,
so
poor guy having 2 spike balls in his hands. That'd be a rough life.
yeah.
Seeing one for the first time in the game is quite scary, especially like running around on Epic or something. You just see a no gump come running at you. It's a.
I remember the first time I saw a no gump was when Johan turned up on my deed one Friday, and I was just farming, And next thing I know, a no-gump's running at me, and I'm like, wait, what the hell? And yeah, so he just turned up to mess with me a little bit and spent a bit of time just summoning things on me. Meanwhile, I was in like my newbie farming gear. Oh, he's gonna stomp the ground. Stump the ground. I can use words really good. Um, can you still do missions for tomes and get them on elevation that way?
I mean, tomes are going to stay in, so I would not see why there would be a reason to remove that stuff. I'm just planning on changing up the tomes, some of the more OP ones a bit. If we did a completely fresh one, likely we would just disable tomes. But as far as it goes, I just like to kind of address the ones that are troublesome. I kind of like the flavor of them. I just don't like that some of them are just clearly so OP, and some of them are just clearly pretty useless. Some of them
Absolutely.
just don't even matter in the current meta because it's kind of any reason they had to be used died out years ago,
And
if they even had one.
the champion of No Gump is dead. And Snoo,
Yeah.
in his bloodlust, has gone after a Spirit Templar. No wonder they don't like him. How will meditation work? If the cap's set at level 9, will there be a transfer option?
I had not considered a transfer option, but I need to look at the time, and I could consider making the path switching time a bit quicker, especially considering there's only going to be 9 levels. Could make the cooldown between switching a bit longer, but make the actual pathing up maybe a bit quicker. But I don't know about transfers. There's a lot to setting up something like that, and I don't know
Yeah.
if it'd really be worth it for how quick you can probably get back up to 9 meditation already with the halved timers on. Or I'm not exactly sure how the epic reduces it, but I know that they're. I know you can get Shield of the Gone a lot lower of a level too, but well, it won't matter because you won't be able to get it now.
Yeah.
But basically, you're gonna maintain your level. You'll be able to go high. How I have it worked out is you'll be able to go higher than level 9, but nothing above level 9. Any of the checks that check to see if you're gonna be able to do something higher than 9 are just gonna return that you're level 9. But visually, you can be higher because I don't want to just cut down the levels. There's no reason for that. Just
Right.
disabling anything higher than that, basically.
Okay.
So just like currently, you can still just keep going up the levels. I think they go up pretty high. It just gets really ridiculously hard to keep going up.
I recall when Wurm Unlimited first came out, someone managed to get to like level 100 meditation and could just like instantly kill with Thought Pulse.
Oh yeah, because of the cooldown between it, I think.
Yeah. I think the cooldown and maybe damage went up too. Just reading through, a lot of the questions are about the path change. Is there something we can get out to the community so people can start to pursue at the very least? I do intend on an email going out to existing and former players, so that will be going out with the update. The current timeframes we have for the update, the server will go down on the 9th, and we will perform all the database stuff and checking and setting up of starter deeds, and we expect it to go up on the 11th, is it?
Probably go down pretty early on the 9th, and no set time on the 11th that it's going to go up.
Right, okay, yeah. So we'll keep you all posted with that as we get closer to it.
It's likely just that. Oh, sorry.
Will home servers be down as well, though?
Oh, yes, all Epic servers will be down for the extended part. I'm not exactly sure if Epic's going to be down a little longer than Freedom or how that would work, but that could always be a possibility. It's extended downtime for Epic.
Right.
But yes, it would be all the Epic servers that would be going down together.
Oh, okay, here comes the. Oh, we got acid breath and then fire. What's next? Ice. Sweet, we got all three. That's pretty good. We got a hat trick. There is one question about does the reset include resets on bans, and that is a no. I I
Good
do
try.
I do not see the GM team uh, allowing that. But yes, Konku asks about kingdom titles. Are there any plans for changes to that?
Not that I've really thought of. Probably not for this.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
nothing really overly broken about any of them. I mean, some of them are more useful than others, but none of them are the most broken thing that you have to have.
yeah.
I guess really the nice one is being able to see enemy kingdoms in Office.
I long remember what was it? Kingdom Informer. That would
Information Minister.
Information Minister. Yes, that one was a worry.
Yeah, that was a little overpowered. Every time someone entered a kingdom influence, it would warn that.
I remember how that went. So Zekazor made a post like, "Hey, this is broken. You're supposed to be able to see it, but it's not working." And then it got fixed. And then like 2 days later, the posts were like, "We're wrong. We're sorry. Please unfix."
So I'm just reading through the a new elevation thread here. I'm just gonna share this in the chat as well, just so people can have a bit of a read on it. How do you expect DR to work? I know we're removing several stacking issues, but have you made any changes to DR itself, or just the
No,
things
not the core mechanics.
that can add to it? Right. Okay.
Basically, just most of the ideas behind the rework weren't completely rewriting mechanics, but just changing some in some ways and limiting others. Like
Right.
with the dirt walls and the mines and meditation, those are more based on limiting, existing mechanics. It's just more tweaking numbers to them
Right.
than anything.
And once you come from the home servers to elevation completely unequipped, will you start with any tools?
Nope, you're gonna have to scavenge for stuff. I thought about that, and it's not that hard to start from fresh. The elevation is a place for people who not for starting. If you're people are going to know how to get started. I really don't want to have to deal with having to spawn in entire sets for people when it comes over, unless it's some huge issue. But I thought it'd be fun. Just
Yeah,
it's not hard to make crude tools and get started up.
that's it. That's it. It adds a little bit of fun to the first hour.
The skills are still higher, so I was just kind of leaving stuff in to kind of make it a bit more challenging for the start.
Yeah. Um, there was one There was one thing you mentioned there, and I was just trying.
Well, steel and flint for sure. That's a good point. I forgot those can be really difficult to make. I'll have to.
Well,
I could possibly put that on the white list to let cross because that's pretty innocent. There's nothing that a good high quality flint and steel is gonna do over there. But that's a good point. Or look at an easier way to maybe temporarily craft. But
good
other than
job.
that, I'd like it to start for fresh.
The greenish Drake spirit has been taken down, so now it's Daddy needs to come.
But then again, I think there is a way for you to make fires out of just two pieces of kindling. I think if you use two
Yes.
pieces of kindling on each other, you can still light a fire.
Yes, and then you can use burning or glowing or hot uh, wood items to light something else now. So
So maybe you'll just be satanic, and we'll just make you
yeah,
really really have a fun
I
start.
will
But
also
we'll see. It's a possibility.
I'll also point out that nowadays you can get charcoal from more things, and this thus makes steel a lot easier. What about compass? Compass will require making.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'll have to look and see how seasons are going to be starting, because you need an olive season to be able to make compasses. So I'll be curious to see if people will be navigating by. But then again, there'll be a white light and a black light, and the server's small enough that they'll both be visible to you no matter where you are on the map, like it was on old Elevation. Or maybe if you're really south, you might lose one of them, but.
Right, yeah.
You should pretty much be able to have both white light and black light as reference for stuff pretty early on. Half the time I didn't even use a compass when I was on even new elevation. The 4x map just still went by the white light and black light.
I
When you
remember
run it.
when I started, I recall asking my alliance. It's like, okay, can anyone make me a compass? And they're like, just look at the textures and work it out. It's easy. And I'm like, wait, what? No.
Build a fire and look which way the smoke goes.
Yeah, all those, the wind and the weather. Now, something I do want to touch on something before I forget. You did say that elevation is not going to be intended for new players. Are you making any changes around new players being able to get there?
Well, at least for the duration of this, you will not be able to spawn onto elevation with a new account. I just figure if an existing player needs to make a new account and bring it over, they spawn on the home server, they teleport over, and they're there. They'd have no items anyways. So I imagine there'll be a few piles of items laying around the portal from some new accounts going through time to time. I feel like just simplifies things, and there's really not a whole lot of reason that anyone who doesn't know what they're doing should be going to elevation and not starting on one of the home servers to get a better grasp. Possibly find some people to play with instead of going over alone.
Right. Okay.
The black light and the white light will be located in the same regional area as they normally are, north and
Yeah. Um, will the new hot HOTA be on elevation? Yes. The old HOTA version will not be. But it is a 2K map, so we are expecting to see it flow a little bit differently, given it's a much smaller map. We know the existing HOTA system still gets conquered, but it will be interesting to see how it goes on a smaller server. Not less camps. It will still have the one every 25 hours, is it?
Believe so. They're slightly offset, so they're not completely at the same time.
Right. Okay. Now, I'm curious as to why the Drake Spirit isn't big. Is it because you can ride a Drake Spirit? So this is my own personal question. I'm half wondering if you can, because that would be absolutely awesome. It's like, who needs hell horses when you can ride Drake Spirits?
I remember being terrified on a Woo server. I forget which one it was. Some guy came chasing after me and a friend when we were on a boat and his dragon or on his Drake hatchling thing. Like they were like wyverns and they can like fly over the water.
there are some creatures in the game that aren't rideable that do have like vehicle mount points for like players to sit on, like the warg.
Wow, I think the Drake Spirits moved on to me. Even though I have invulnerable. That's awkward. Silly things. I mean, I can fight it, but I don't want to. It is very odd, but I quite like. I really like the Drake Spirit and Eagle Spirit look, especially when I think I saw the Eagle Spirit once without the Spirit status. Um, it looked quite good. It looks like just a very pale eagle.
The moon medal will be rewarded from Hoda as original. There'll also be some variant of the chests. I might change up the loot a little bit in them, but I imagine the chests will also be back to some degree.
Transmutation liquid stuff on elevation. I believe it's currently allowed on the
Yes, there's going to
existing
be
map.
limitations put into place with it, sort of like the mine systems and stuff. basically there will need to be 3 tiles in between each transmutated tile that you normally wouldn't be able to change the slope of very easily, like clay, tar, peat, and stuff.
Right, okay. Alright. I will just point out to Boomhard, we did do a rather big sweeping change to most armors and metals. Moon metal gear is still stronger, but plate and chain is a little bit excessive. As for questions about traders, I'm not entirely sure we actually plan traders on this server. Personally, I don't think that they're necessary. I think that it's probably like keeping them on the home servers, but Elevation not having them. But that's a discussion that hasn't really come up.
We can also tone back moon metals. I see some people saying concerns about moon metal getting out of control if one group's controlling it. We could also scale back just how much is given, make it more of a slower acquisition and kind of make it more like a Drake or a scale set was, where you kind of have to build up some sets over time.
Yeah, you can
Could
also
also be an option.
you can also get moon metal from doing missions as well, I believe.
It'll be
So
easy enough to nerf the amount down to make it more for a new server. I can see how the amount's more tailored to an existing server, where it gives enough after just a couple of weeks for a lot.
we do have Gurn here, so the mystery of who Gurn is the person here.
Ace Raffle, sleep powder. I mean, you probably just be able to go to the home server and use the sleep powder and just come back. That would be my
Sleep
guess.
powder will cross. There's a whitelist of items of no drops, like spy glasses and just other stuff that really might as well cross. There's no real. They're not. I don't want to restrict everything that's like including no drops. Like, I feel like you should be able to bring your sleep powder over. Are we talking about freedom? I'm sorry, did I misunderstood?
No, it's from the home servers, or basically transferring the sleep.
Yeah, you'll be able to bring your sleep powders over.
Yes.
There will be no traders on Elevation, though.
No,
No traders for sale. No ones you can put down. There might be one in the starters selling some general no drops just so you don't have to cross to get them, but you won't be able to place your own. But there's still a lot to be decided and still stuff not fully set in stone. It's a big project and not a lot of time to finish. Give you exact details and then say it's going to happen like this.
A lot of this we were discussing about the outcomes of this, and it's like people might come up with situations that we haven't actually thought of. So it is quite handy when you guys ask questions like this. We might not have a direct answer, but it might not be something that we've thought about as well. I know the spam currently is about res stones. Have you guys thought about that, or does that fall under the good idea? We'll have to work that out.
That's why they're going to be in. No, that's why there's likely going to be at least a trader in the starter town. You're likely going to have to go to the starter town to buy your res stone. Can look at when I'm limiting the stock, increasing the redstone stock a bit to make that a little more feasible too.
Yeah, I know. I probably just work like Xanadu, where there's traders at the starter deeds, but you can't actually place one.
Exactly. They'll sell some limited stock on no drop items that are all right, like merchants. Like I thought about merchants, but Elevation has a mechanic to drain merchants, so it's not that. I don't think it's a big deal not to let someone have a merchant, considering somebody can come up and just taunt it and make it drop all of its items if they're raiding.
Well, it looks like Snoo is leading his new friends somewhere.
Yes, as far as things being in intelligent positions, everything including the white light and the black light, even though they're going to be in the same general area. I mean, they could spawn where I'm kind of planning them, but I plan to move them to areas that are kind of fair for everyone, an equal-ish distance from everyone's starter deed, where the white light's not way closer to MR compared to JK, or the black light's not a 10-hour hike from BL starter deed.
So what
It'll
we're
be
gonna
pretty
do?
consistent.
We're gonna give Enki a 30 centimeter ruler and make sure that the white light is exactly between MR.
I'm not gonna say exact.
No. He's got to work out to the 30 centimeters, the whole way. But yes, the aim is for it to be not favoring one or the other.
It's not gonna just be randomly placed down. Things will be placed. But likely the lady will like a lot of things, like the lady and the dual rings. They have some pretty decent code in place for where they spawn, so they shouldn't have to be moved too much. But it's possible that they would need to be moved. I don't plan to just leave them all random.
Okay, just reading through all the other questions. There's quite a few here. Can I get my spyglass on Epic and Freedom rather than just on Cluster? That's a little bit outside of this. Let's see. Template Kingdoms and the King system, how it is right now, it's metagame central. Please think about that. I mean, touching that starts to become like major mechanics works, and one thing that we did stress at the start of this was we can do minor changes along with a map reset as long as it doesn't impact other things. I mean, once we get to the major work, like that's one thing I want to stress. This isn't us pushing up the major work. It isn't us pushing up anything. It's literally Dark Lords and Ozimus have stepped up with a plan to actually what they would like, what they could see doing on elevation within a short time frame, and they've done an absolute amazing amount of work. Saying, oh yeah, Epic's like, that's the work on Epic, so we're done and it's done early is incorrect and misleading. It's actually, we still plan on sitting down and doing the major overhauls. The challenge system being updated to combat enemy kingdom ults from stealing and holding king. I'm not sure of what that system was.
So what's the issue with? I'm guessing the issue would be that somebody can just make a bunch of accounts in another king. Don't they have to be premium accounts though? So they'd have to make a ton of premium alts in the other kingdom to try and challenge. But I looked at the challenge code, and I'm pretty sure it's based on like active population in the kingdom too. So you need a significant portion of the people. I have to look again. I was just kind of perusing it. I hadn't really looked too hard at it, but I don't. Has it? I don't remember a case where it was really an incident where alts forced a king to abdicate.
Oh, someone has just cast tentacles.
Plus, to force them to abdicate, you can go into a fight, so they'd actually have to challenge you with the ring stuff. Oh boy! So my alts forced a king to abdicate. All right. Well, I guess make a thread about the mechanics, or post about it in the feedback thread. I'm willing to look at possible issues and good temporary solutions, but it's hard to rewrite an entire system like that. That's a pretty in-depth system as far as moving kings, and it wouldn't be easy just to make something simple to replace it.
Exactly. Boom Ha says this new epic change is good and all, but if this isn't a step in the direction of a total reset, then you'll be right back in the same place like in under 6 months. We're looking at this is basically to provide us some feedback on changes that we'd like to see come, some ideas about changing up the existing meta, and then once we get to that, we'll be looking at the actual plans for the system, which we'll be able to share closer. I've been told we'll be able to share them 1 week before they go live. I'm hoping I can, get a little bit more time than that. But yes, these changes are. I know other people keep suggesting like extremely large changes or ones that go really in depth. But the problem with this is we're looking at this as this is a short term work. The long term work is actually planned, and we will continue that discussion. It's just don't expect to see the major long term stuff come in this rendition. Once we move to the other one, or the bigger epic project, we may be able to sit down and go through the more longer term stuff suggested and be like, okay, does this fit in with what we want to actually achieve with epic? You know, can we adjust it and stuff such as that. We yeah, we have discussed some ideas, and I know there are people that would like to see epic go back to closer to its um original goal, which is something that we think would be interesting to see too, and kind of looking at that going, okay, well, how could that work? And yes, Bubba has announced that the information will come 1 week after. That's not very helpful. Thanks, Bubba. Olok and Platinum Teeth are currently discussing the challenge system with the Kings, so who's that? Frogtown Hero says he loves the Wurm Online music. If you guys add more tracks, I'll send you all a pic of my belly button. Okay. I think he's just single-handedly guaranteed that no music will ever come to Wurm again.
But if there's some suggestions related to the dueling system, make sure just to post it on the feedback thread that's up already for this stuff. And I mean, I'll definitely take a read through it if you have some concerns or suggestions. But like I said, complete rewrites are unlikely. But if there's just some flat out stuff that isn't working with how it's currently intended to work, I can definitely take a look at that and making sure that it's possible to challenge and hopefully not super abusable. But at some point, it's hard to say when someone makes a lot of premium accounts and then does it. I mean, at what point, do you tell the difference between a bunch of players or one guy with a bunch of accounts, who want to dethrone someone?
Yeah.
Other than just making it against the rules and issuing bans for it or something.
A retrograde emote for this channel alongside Rolf when you get affiliates so we can sub. I hope not. Platinum Teeth asks, will there be a minimum for draining a deed? So,
what do you mean by
a minimum fight skill in order to drain a deed, to avoid alt draining.
Look at something like that. I guess that would make sense for draining the deed. Has been an issue in the past. It would be a pretty simple fix. Can put that on the consideration list. I ain't making any promises about anything, but something could definitely look at putting. That might even be a way to help combat alt abuse on the dueling ring, putting some kind of fight skill requirement to challenge the king. But I guess I personally hadn't seen it be abused. Not to say that it couldn't have been abused when I wasn't playing on Epic or another server, but definitely interested in fixing things that are broken and easy. Just post stuff on the thread, for discussion. The easy little things are nice to be able to hit. It's just the complex things like say adding fight skill requirement to challenge king. Easy. Rewriting the king challenge system completely, not quite so.
Though there is a suggestion, requirement to become a king. That could be something that we look at as well, could it? So require certain body or characteristic stats. They've killed the how long ago did I spawn that? That was a long time ago. Aged Greenish Jake Spirit has arrived. Then they fought it. And then so okay, that took them 19 minutes to kill the champion Drake Spirit. So let's see how they do against a let's go Champion Spawn of Utacha. There we go. A nice big slug. No, that's what baby slugs look like. That's a witchetty grub.
I do
Alright.
like the no gump throwing items though.
It is a lot of fun.
That's a funny mechanic.
Yeah, when I was told about it, I just thought it was hilarious. It's something that what I really like about these is they're not just more fight mechanics. There's a little bit of humor added too, and a little bit of tactic. You need to actually be paying attention because you may have your chest piece removed or your weapon, and suddenly you drop down to 0 combat capabilities. All right, so there's still the discussion about the king stuff. That can be in the thread, and we can go through that and have a long discussion. Is there going to be a final draft on the forums, or are we able to bring in feedback still in a new thread? I believe Dark Lords is updating the forum thread as he goes.
I've updated it generally when there's been new major stuff. I'll definitely I'd definitely try and get out another thing with some more up-to-date information. I wanted to wait for the stream, though, and not put out anything updated before we did the stream to talk.
If I recall, we had discussed that after this, we'll touch on all the points that we did come out with as much as we can. I'll also be putting this stream up on YouTube and making sure it's available for everyone as well, just in case you missed it. And you want to sit through, 90 minutes of me talking and staring at a screen. Again, I'd just like to talk about these tentacles. Saruman is wholly responsible for them, and we are now very concerned about him. Because these things look gross. I really like the new spell effects he has put in.
Yeah, I just wanted to stress one thing. Like, pretty much anything we say, though, is not final, and everything is subject to change still. As with any project that's kind of rushed like this and not something we can flesh out in the background, it could be easy to think one way and then have it turn out that it's not quite the way. So I do want to patter people's hopes, that I'm going to do the best that we can, but
Exactly.
sometimes it might not work out with this short of a dev cycle. Talking about it, it might not be, issues might come up later that just mean that it's just not going to work out. But try and do everything we can just to make it.
That was far too easy. I'm disappointed in that. What should they fight now?
Because they're learning, they're getting some better gear and using some spells now.
Yeah, they're definitely learning. I think they need to take on the Son of No Gump again. Oh. Alright, there we go. He's running up here. He's not after me, so that's good. I'll just move back a little bit. He's got his head in the trees, so it makes it a little bit difficult to actually get a good view. There we go. Oh, there we go. There we go. We've got them all fighting. Champion Drake Spirit or bust. They did actually just beat a Champion Drake Spirit. They spent 19 minutes fighting it. How will Sorry?
I said several deaths.
Yeah. How will terraforming events work on the new smaller map so it doesn't end up looking like...
I don't think terraforming map events have been enabled for quite a while.
Terraforming events were disabled like 2.5, maybe even 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a while since there's been terraforming events.
Yeah, so terraforming events are gone. Yeah, there is quite a lot coming in this, and it is a very short time frame. We do still intend the bigger work in 6 months or so to be the larger larger thing. This is just more something to change up the existing meta and address some of the key issues raised. Also, the opportunity to reset the map. So, one thing that we didn't want to do with a map reset was just reset it and have all the same mechanics. So, thankfully, Osimus and Dark Lords have taken their time to actually stand up and provide a lot of
I'll put a
work.
lot more time in than just the map.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
helped extensively beyond the map with the actual physical changes to the server.
That's it. I can see the updates, and it's you're both working extremely hard on this, and I think it's amazing. Wow, that was taken down way too quickly. I am not
They're
impressed.
learning. They're getting their gear better.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah.
problem with the test server. You can deck it out, especially when you start getting the priest stuff on. They're not quite as immune to them as unique.
Jeez, he's a big boy.
Oh, there you go. The Avenger.
The Avenger of the Light. He is.
There you can hit him hard.
He is a very big boy, and he's got very big underwear on.
Yeah, it's a disturbing view.
I remember when someone found out that you could zombie these with the scale.
Oh, wow. I recall.
It only lasted like a day because they reported it, but it was just funny seeing someone have a pet Avenger. I forget, it was named after one of the player gods. It was just funny.
What I recall is with the new mission system, the Avenger of Light was a creature that could spawn as a slay on Epic, which I absolutely loved. Except on Serenity, on Serenity, there were approximately it was like the mission was kill 25. They were all over the map. I was sailing in and there was one after me and this was chasing me along, and then I was like getting free of that one and another one was coming along, and then I forget who, but someone came and fought it and held it off for me. Wow, that's some good fighting on Chaos. There's been some kills. Kassadin slain by Eren Yes the Great, Zaz, Salaka, Davy, Vomusu, Samurai, Haxed. Azrael slain by Bloodwood, Davy, Vomusu, Samurai, Haxed. Is it quite possible that you guys are taking advantage of the fact that Osimus and Dark Lords are currently preoccupied here with me?
I haven't even logged on Chaos in a while. I've been pretty neglectful of play.
I normally just stay on Deed and do like Care Bear stuff.
Yeah.
I'll defend if someone really need really, if they bug me to get on. But I've been busy. I haven't been playing Wurm a whole lot as outside my test server. Play my test server quite a lot.
All right, so let's go champion Deathcrawler simply because I want to see a really big one. I did actually do some testing with Tice, and he was unable to kill the champion Deathcrawler. But I imagine, yeah, there's quite a few of you really hurting it. So wow, this is a quick one.
I think they finally realized to use the test menu, probably up their
Yeah,
skills.
they're all sitting with 90 quality gear and 90 skills and 90 body stats. You know what this means?
Yeah, spawn like 7 of them in.
No, it means they got to fight a black dragon.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. And unfortunately, I can't summon a champion dragon that actually looks bigger, so that should keep him occupied for a little while we talk a bit more, It's got so much DR that probably, should have. We'll see how they go. Players rideable. No. Snoo asks, is the map done as we speak? Are we happy with it? Yes.
Yes, the map is done. Personally, I'm happy with it.
It looks amazing. I've spent a bit of time on it, checking things out, and I really, really do like it. It's got actual mountain ranges, which, if anyone's familiar with Osimus's maps, they look amazing, and this is absolutely no
But the mountain
different.
ranges aren't like DSC kind of thing where they're like unformidable fortresses that people are going to start building on top of.
But I
They're
would,
everything's pretty reasonable. I'm, like you said, it's a good map. We're definitely very happy with it.
yeah, and it's something that we hope will be a lot of fun. The it's not like a made of sandpaper. It's very easy to ride around.
Yeah, I tried to take a lot of aspects from the old elevation and bring it to this one. So, I mean, it's got, as far as like the topography and stuff of the low level areas of the map, it's got a lot in common.
It's also got a
old elevation there.
Yeah, I believe it also has a throwback central hoter. I figured that, oh, not central hoter, but a central step. I figure that's a lot of what's the word I'm trying to think of? Nostalgia throwback there.
Oh yeah, I couldn't make a elevation map without a central hub.
All right, we're gonna get rid of the dragon because it's just not gonna die.
But this time it's not going to be unusable.
Yeah, this time it's not an actual Hoda; it's just a central.
Yeah, so it's just gonna be a spot to meet and fight each other on. There we go.
Boom. There will be some. There is some choke points in.
Yeah, there are some choke points, but they're not as bad as the existing elevation map was, where a land bridge could be deeded and then owned.
Yeah, they're not water-based choke points, which are pretty bad for people.
Oh no, he stunned me. What's he after me for? I've done nothing. I brought him into this world. I can take him out of it. Oh wow, that's a big corpse. All right, there we go. And Gurn has arrived with a backup horse. I think he's getting into the PvP feel. We've got Dinkelberg pretty much just standing there, not actually fighting. Michael B is doing his best. I think that's a name I recall from somewhere. Mojo's here, a belligerent banger. We've got Snoo. The first Leet Steed is dead. Gurn has walked out. I don't know why Gurn is with Horde of the Summoned, but I don't think that's meant to be.
You can change your kingdom now on test. When we did the priest overhaul, I updated the test menu to let you change your kingdom. Never added any restriction on what test server you can do it on, so you can be any kingdom you want in any test server right now.
Some view shots of the new map. I could probably arrange that to come out. Maybe with the newsletter, I'll include some shots for the of new elevation. So keep an eye out for that. All right. So, is there anything else that you guys are looking to touch on? Failing that, we'll open up for some more questions and then finish it up.
Nothing super. Just that it's a lot of it's done. Still stuff left to do before the server is done. Right now, a lot of the other mechanics aren't enabled on the test server, but the item crossing stuff is enabled on BAF and Druska, which are two of the test servers. They were kind of repurposed, and now one of them's Elevation, which it already was, which is Druska, but now BAF is JK Home, so there's a clone setup of it. If anyone wants to try and smuggle some items through or anything and help us out beforehand.
Yeah, break it.
Yeah.
Break it beforehand.
Yeah, if you do want to help testing, just give Dark Lords a poke and offer, and he'll set you up with it all. I think you can test it all
You
by
can,
yourself, but probably better with you there directing them, isn't it?
if anyone doesn't know, you can type. I think it's just IRC in the console, and it'll open it up. And you can. I'm always in the default Wurm IRC channel. It's always an easy way if you're on test.
Yeah.
Just want to get a hold of me right through the Wurm client. You can just type IRC right in the console, and it'll pull up a full IRC client in the Wurm client and connect you to the default Wurm channel with your Wurm username.
Platinum Teeth asks, are we going to get Basher back for the epic changes? I hope not. And that one was taken down so much faster. I feel you guys have all gotten really, really strong.
I
I'm
see one
proud
of
of you.
them's shiny, so it looks like one of them's got some rare stuff.
Oh wow, they actually killed the dragon.
Yeah, Snoo's got some rare stuff, but I think that was no, it's not rare. He's just shiny because he's in scale.
Might have a spell on himself.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone's rather
I
shiny
think
in
Oakshell
scale.
might make you look like that too.
Oh, someone. Gurn just cast fungus trap on everyone, and look at the mushrooms. They're getting them all. Good job, Gurn. He's a real PvPer. It's freedom, yet he's still trying to fight. Oh, there's an old champion sea serpent. So there we go. We can. Oh, that's a big snake. Is it really champion though? No. It's just the normal sea snake.
There's some big guys just by themselves.
They would look more imposing if their faces didn't look so derpy. Like
But a lot of sea creatures look derpy.
the oversized underbite, and the tongue just, it looks very odd. And I know you say sea creatures look derpy, but I love the shark. The shark actually looks like, you see the shark and you're like, yep, that looks good.
Yeah, we need rattlesnake.
Well, I was going to say we need some Australian animals, but the huge spiders are in, so that counts. Alright, so just before we finish up, I'm not sure if we did. Valine asks, did we go over what benefits will be given to hate instead of the damage buff?
I'm pretty sure it was posted in one of part of the thread, but might be time for a new thread just because stuff's kind of gotten a little buried
Yeah.
in that one. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll work on that a bit after the streaming tonight. But I'm thinking it's going to be a lock picking bonus of some sort of small bonus to your lock picking chance for the 15-minute duration instead of being physical damage.
So,
Even a half decent lock picking bonus, but it won't be damage.
So in other words, it's just you really hate locks.
Well, it might not be keeping super on with it, but I wanted to make it something, still kind of useful, but still something that wasn't gonna overbearing in PvP. I like meditation for me. I always liked it as I thought like the 11 is kind of where it went wrong in the hate bonus, whereas before it was long cooldown, short duration, just nice flavor effects that you could take as a person. Whereas once you hit 11, it becomes passive effects that are really, really strong and kind of become mandatory instead of just being temporary long cooldown effects like everything else is on it.
Yeah. I also want to take a moment just to, I know he's not here, but he's probably watching. Samul's work with distant trees is absolutely amazing. Like every time I just hover up above the tree line and it's just a sea of green, is absolutely amazing.
Someone mentioned about disintegration timers. No plan to change that as far as disintegration windows for.
Okay. All right. Well, with that that out of the way, I think we might wrap it up here. We've been here for 90 minutes, so I'd like to thank everyone for coming and watching. And I hope you all, are a little bit more hyped than you were before and had many of your questions answered. I know not all of your questions might have been answered, but we'll definitely be working with the threads and working there. It is time for the Wurm music. We are going to be carried away to the end of our stream by another one of Guru Bear's tracks. I love you too, cool guy. 300, 300. You're pretty cool to me. I would like to thank everyone for watching, and of course Dark Lords and Ozimus for joining, and not just joining, but putting in a lot of their work and time in order to get this epic stuff going. It's definitely something that's mattered a lot to them. So thank you guys.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Alright, well, thank you all for coming, and keep on worming.
Have a good day.
Everyone have fun.
This would be the Wurm work song. Pick up your shovels. We're building a wall, building it high in Wurm, in Wurm. We're building a wall, building it long in Wurm, in Wurm. And as we get to the end, we'll just start another wall in Wurm. Digging a hole, digging it deep in Wurm. Wurm is waiting. We're digging a hole, looking for rock in Wurm. Wurm is waiting. But when we get to the end, we're just gonna fall from the bottom of Wurm. Oh yeah, we're mining some rock, a ton of good rock in Wurm. Working so hard. We're mining some rock, we're mining so hard in Wurm, working so hard. When the cave bugs come nibbling, just grab your pick and get running in Wurm. We're building a house, a strong stone house in Wurm, a house in Wurm. It'll have bedrooms and bathrooms like hell it will in Wurm, a house in Wurm. When we finished our house, there'll be a strong, warm home in Wurm. So we're building a town, a place to be.